how'd we do? Would you like to share?
I called 5 people and 3 didn't answer in a row.
Oh.
But then I talked to somebody and it went well. It's always weird having only like 20 minutes because I feel like everyone in my contact list really haven't talked to in a long time.
Right.
So it's like, hey, we have to make this fast, but.
So brief and abrupt.
That really does happen, but once you start calling a
Regularly.
little more often, they
Yeah.
become shorter.
Yeah.
But that's true, you have to, allow extra time. Anyone else have some?
Conversations.
Okay, we put this down, so we'll do that. Let's do blue this week. So 5 and 3, 5 for you, 3 for you,
Mm-hmm.
more dials.
I called one and I had 8 text conversations going with people.
Okay,
So I
okay,
think
let's
that
call it
counts.
9, I think so, you bet, especially the younger people,
So is
Yeah.
that,
they don't wanna talk on the phone.
are we
Yeah, a
doing
lot of
numbers
people don't.
today or are we doing numbers this past week?
This is gonna, be for today, and then we're gonna start doing numbers for the whole week. Would you like to give me your numbers for the week?
I'm still calculating them in my head.
Okay, so 9, let's see, who else wants to give me some dials?
8.
Awesome. Anybody else?
I had 6 text conversations.
Okay,
I had 2 text conversations.
okay. Very good, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is there someone, did you give me a number?
Yes.
Oh, you did, yeah, you did. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Silly me. Hi. How many dials did you make?
1.
Okay. Okay, so we have 14, 17, 25, 31, 34, is that correct? I think so. Okay. Okay, so of these 5, how many was that? Two conversations?
Mhm.
Okay.
2.
And- Okay. Who had 9?
Corey.
I had 1 call and 8 text conversations.
Okay. Oh, yeah, right. And so, did the call result in a conversation?
No.
The other text did?
Yeah,
All of them?
all of them, yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, oh, am I right? Yeah.
2.
Thank you, sir. What's 6?
3.
Beautiful, that's good. And the 2?
Oh, that was 2.
Okay. So 8, 10, 15, 23.
Was it lifetime?
Okay. Any referrals or appointments? It's okay.
I have a pending open house request.
There you go. An open house request.
For me to sit in an open house.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so I was visiting with Marion a couple days ago and she brought up something that's super, super important. And it kind of goes along with what my message about how messy it is in the middle. Just focus on what you're doing today and where you want to go and not worry about what you're seeing until it starts popping, because it's coming, it's on its way. Likewise, Nicole's one of my best friends. She was so excited after your first class. Honestly, she just called, I gotta share this with you. She was so excited, so proud of those 7 that you guys did. Now, that was exciting. But then what happens when this happens and there's 0 and you're like, oh, that week was much better than this week. That experience was better. But like Marion pointed out, and it was so true, that's not how we measure. You're every bit as successful today, even though the outcome was 0 appointments or referrals, as you were the day that 7 that the class got 7, because you have done the activity. I want you to gauge your success in that respect. The other's gonna come. The other's gonna come if you do these activities. So you don't, well, I didn't get a call today, I don't have an appointment today, I don't. That doesn't matter, this is a numbers game, and we all know what that means. That means that you have to do the activities a certain amount of time in order to get certain results. So even if you didn't get your referral or your appointment on the calls you made today, you have made this many more calls. And you're that closer, much closer to finding the one that's gonna give you some business. This is a numbers game. So you're every bit as successful when you make the calls, and on some days nothing good comes, and on the days when woohoo, everybody answers woohoo. You know how that works in life? It's kinda weird how that works, but just remember that. So don't judge yourself too harshly when things aren't coming through. You just keep doing the activity, keep doing the activity. I learned so much about my own life and about other people when I started studying emotional IQ. There's a lot of intelligent people that manage to sabotage and not do too well. I've been one of those people. We've all been one of those people. Emotional IQ, the main piece to high emotional IQ is the ability to delay gratification. It's not easy. That's not easy, and that's what we're asking you to do here. You might not get a referral, an appointment, or have a deal closed this month, or what have you. You must delay gratification. You must first put your faith in this system, and then discipline yourself to the extent that you need to consistently take the action steps that will absolutely give you everything you want. It's just a fact. I know why my business is not booming right now. It's because I haven't been booming in the lead generation department. First to admit it, you know, and life gets in the way sometimes and stuff happens. So again, be careful that you don't judge yourself improperly. If you're doing the activity, you are a success. And I promise you, if you keep doing it, you're gonna reach your goals. That make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, yes, she is planning, let me look at my note, because she just gave me this scoop before I walked in, and I know that she is, okay. So I'm just adding today's numbers to this, we're gonna leave it at that, but in the future, she is, I know she's gonna be here Wednesday teaching you. And be sure to track the numbers you do outside of class, because we want to start bringing those in as well. Okay. So doing is where the learning happens, right? It's not always easy, but making these calls in classes are helpful. They're very helpful. Okay. So now I'm going to move us down to handwritten notes. Does everybody have a way to contact or write a note? Maybe even hand deliver it to someone that you contact or tried to contact today? Write them a note. I know you have one. Did everybody get one postcard? I used to be in a program where I had 50 of those delivered to me every month. I still have leftovers.
Oh, you mean the blanks?
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be, if you look ahead in your book, you're gonna see there's some suggestions. Don't let this overwhelm you. You know, if you had a conversation, wow, that's amazing that you had 20 people for Thanksgiving. That's, or any small, couple sentences is really all you need. You wanna touch bases. When you go to your mailbox, you always open the ones that are sorry. Those are the ones ones you open, right, the handwritten ones. So you definitely wanna do that. When I had, did several a day, I'd have my assistant post it with their name, address, and phone number on the card, cause I wanted it to be in my own handwriting. Plus, I would look at the note and go, oh, that's so-and-so, and look at the card and it didn't fit for me, right? So I'd pick a different one, maybe, and trade it out. But, if you have stamps in your briefcase or whatever you're using for your work and cards with you, it's gonna really make it easier to follow through and do this. If you have to go find a card every time, if you have to, oh, where am I stamped, so the system is the solution. Systems are awesome. Great book, by the way, The E-Myth Revisited. It's by Michael Gerber. Taught me so much. And that's his thing. The system is the solution. Michael Gerber, The E-Myth Revisited, I think they call it. Sorry, I turned my phone down. You guys give me those cards back, I'll mail them for you, I have stamps. Another minute here. We have a clock in here.
It's 10:40. Wow. Big pens.
So she used to it. This kind of makes you feel good.
too.
Yeah.
It does, huh?
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it?
I forgot how much I love this person. Such a nice person here.
I'm just a huge believer in the personal notes. You can do some fun things, you know, you're gonna be looking through a different lens. Beautiful thing about real estate is I can go have coffee and do business. And when you go out, he's our caddy at Plantation out of Kabalua. Do you think he's gonna meet some people that might be able to do some real business? Wow. You can go sit at a bar and do business. So, you know, if you think about what you're doing in your daily life, in places that you regularly go, the coffee shop, the dry cleaner, the restaurant where you go out to breakfast or what have you. There are a lot of really great people out there, and if you are walking around with cards and somebody gives you great service, and you jot down a little note just saying, I just wanted to say thank you. You know, you do such a great job and I've really enjoyed and give them that card, do you think that's gonna make their day?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Right? Or when somebody does something nice to you, you throw a card in there and give them a $5 Starbucks card or something. You know, say thank. Those are the kinds of things that just make such a difference in this world. And in the beginning, it's so easy to want to just grab at anything, you know, that might turn into business. I encourage you to just really posture up. Funky people refer other funky people. Good people refer other good people, you know. Sometimes you have to say goodbye. And if you chase business and your instincts are telling you, oh, this guy's not treating me right, or for whatever reason, it's not right, I encourage you to follow your instincts, because the negativity zaps you of your creative and positive abilities that are gonna help you to follow through and do all this that you need to do, right? You can have 4 clients that are great and one that's a stinker, and that's what you're thinking about when you're driving home. It took me some years to learn the lesson, but that's really when my business broke out also. It's, you know, my mom, I laugh and tell people that it's a genetic defect, because my mom was a realtor also. And she taught me something many years ago. She said, Jeanie, put away your tin cup. In other words, you know, you don't need to beg for business, right? You want to work with people that you feel good about yourself when you're around them, and they're doing it for other good people. It's okay. If somebody's really funky and you clearly know, but you think, oh, but I need the money, and oh, it might be a deal, resist, and just keep getting out there, and you're gonna build a group of people that you can stay in touch with regularly that will refer you business. When I had a large business, really good business going, I never had more than what I call 30 A+ people in my database. Never more than 30. And they were the walking, talking billboards that said, I don't care you're late for work. We gotta call Jeanie, because you're gonna use Jeanie. She's, yeah, you know. So, it's quality, not quantity, right? For sure. Yes.
Did you ever reward people that refer you business financially, or give them gifts, or?
Well, you know, we have to pay attention to some laws and RESPA and all this and that in the business and with our lines out, but I absolutely did, and I absolutely do. You know, just the littlest things. Like, you think that a CEO of a company doesn't need something or want something. Everybody's the same. They love getting a little something, you know. They're gonna enjoy that Starbucks card too, or maybe tickets to the movies. If they become repeat, you know, like a couple that really do it up, then it would increase, you know. One time, one of the fun things I did is, they had 4 kids, and I said, I'm gonna come babysit, you guys can go on a date out, because they're going, we never get out, we don't have it. I said, oh, well, that was a nice gift for them. Sounds kind of silly, but you know, you just, yeah,
But that was thoughtful.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't care if this person can, refers you to Aunt Jill who can't qualify to buy a Schwinn bike. Doesn't matter,
Mhm.
encourage the behavior,
Mm.
encourage the behavior, because they're gonna strike gold at some point, right, so, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, we are going to now kind of get into the thick of it here, for what we're doing today, and that has to do with pricing and doing market analysis and so on. So getting your head into the game, and along with scurrying to get business in the beginning, remember that our job is not just to list a property, but to list and sell the property. Cause it's like, oh gosh, I just wanna have a listing, so it shows that I can have a listing. I mean, this little dinky listing that you showed, and thank you very kindly, it's the only listing I have right now, right? So in the beginning, it's also very easy to let our sellers get the upper hand, cause we're not feeling as confident, even when you are experienced, there's days when, you know. But remember that you're the professional, and your job is not just to list, but to sell, and so it's very, very important that you price things properly. In some markets more than others. The business changes as the market changes, and as you know, I'm sure we're in a pre-shift, kind of, just starting to shift in the market, so that impacts how we price and the timing of things and all like that, so. Our goal is to list and to sell, and pricing has a large mindset component, both for you and your seller. I like this. Pricing is a process. Learning to do it well also requires knowing pricing strategies based on the principles that drive markets. There's a lot of dynamics at play. It also requires pricing tactics, building and presenting a comparative market analysis, and the scripts that go with it. I hope you all have a script partner, and if not, in this class, if you're making friends and there's an obvious choice, I recommend that you start script practice, even 10 minutes, say twice a week, 9 a.m. in the morning, take turns calling each other. It's really good. You can stay and drill down on the same thing over and over again if you want, but script practice is very, very good. So let's turn to page 11, make it happen, pricing. It's obviously one of the essential skills that we need to know, and you must, in order to get this down, know how the markets work, the local market conditions, and pricing criteria. We're gonna I've pulled up some, I think we're gonna eventually end up in teams of 2, and we're gonna do like an analysis. So the only thing you need to think about here is somebody in your team has to have a computer in choosing your team, so. 2 principles about markets and value provide a great foundation for pricing any real estate. Markets operate on the law of supply and demand. When supply is high and demand is down, prices fall, and when it's low, demand is up and the prices increase. So we do often have that bump up. We're entering into the busy season, where typically a lot of us make 60-70% in those 3 months of our daily income, or at least plant those seeds. Sometimes they don't pull the trigger and they leave the island because we're in a resort area, but now you just need to be sure to follow up with those people, and maybe they'll be back next winter, right, and come. Interesting dynamics right now as it pertains to our current market. My conversion has been low lately. The last 3 sets of buyers, for instance, didn't buy anything. And that was frustrating because I have a high conversion rate, messing with my numbers. The reason is this: 2 of those 3 had been here a couple of years ago. We got together, I don't know if it was an open house or however it was, but we connected, and I have faithfully stayed in touch with them by sending them items of value. They don't need to cost much, your newsletter. You've got everything you need to get going. And staying in touch. Of course, you want to call them at least once a quarter and say hi. And they didn't, for whatever reason, pull the trigger last time, so now they're back. 2 years later, two different couples, this was the scenario. Fortunately, prices have really gone up in the last 2 years. We're at the top of the market now. So, wall number one, I've gotta adjust. I've gotta either pay more, maybe I can't, or I have to compromise what I want, which is kind of a bummer. So when you take that dynamic, and that affects their mindset and their goals, and then you also take into consideration the fact that the market's starting to shift. Both of these couples told me, dang, we're gonna wait until the market comes down, right? Wait, because they expect, and I honestly expect also, we're seeing signs of this. There's actual, I mean, you can tell by looking at the stats, the market times are getting longer. There's several things happening to show us that we typically follow the California market by about a year, right? They're a little further into the shift than we are. At this time, our business has been sort of kept up because we have low inventory and, a lot of people bidding and keeping the market kind of going right now. But there's a good chance that after a winter market in the spring, things are really gonna start to shift. Now, that's kind of a bummer in a way, but it's wonderful too. I like to work with buyers. I'm gonna have buyers coming out of the woodwork when that does happen, right? So, now or later, it's fine. Okay, so what is the current supply in our market, and how do we know what the current supply is? Anybody?
RAM.
I brought, gosh, I apologize, guys, I'm not used to this room, and I just don't set up very well. I actually brought the market statistics, and I'll grab them in our next break. Anyway, here it is. So if you don't already have a relationship with escrow title or some people in our services, they're your team, by the way. You do have a team. There's no question, right? So you have a team. Melissa Salvador is with Old Republic Title. I work with Old Republic. I work with Fidelity. You can work with who you like. A lot of times you just kind of, create a little relationship and enjoy working with specific people.
Would you just go into one of those places and just meet them? Is that how you do
I would
something
go
like
to
that?
caravans. That's the easiest way to initially meet a service provider. They will be there.
Okay.
There's no question, they'll be there. If any of you are wanting some pieces or to incorporate and let them assist you, let me know, and after class I'd be happy to introduce you to someone that can help you.
Okay.
And they're gonna work hard for your business, and they know, like when I put that listing on, Rita Chen from Fidelity, who I love, and I use Fidelity a lot, she saw it, came on, and so immediately, can I do order preliminary title for you? And I said, thanks a lot, but it's so-and-so's turn. Oh, darn, okay, right? That's the way that works. And then we actually did get an offer. We didn't accept it, but, and that was with someone that was working with Fidelity, so she would have ended up with that anyway. So that's just the way this works, it's no problem. So every month, Melissa Salvador sends me I didn't bring it, but she sends me a branded version. So it's a sheet showing the statistics that has my name, picture, and all that. They'll give you all this stuff. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? So these statistics are good to know and to look at. I'm gonna pass these two around and you can check them out. But they give you good information, and it's a good snapshot. Now, in terms of the people you're working with, we have to deal with right brain and left brain people, right? So it's just like with newsletters, I like to send something out that's, stats, engineer, and then I also like to send out stuff that's kind of warm and fuzzy feeling, what have you. I go back, personal, business, you have to kind of try to catch everyone. So these are really great to give engineers and people, when you're working with, someone that it's clearly their thing, then just throw as much of this kind of stuff at them as possible, because it's really a value to them. I also put the one-page branded piece inside a plastic sheet that I hand every month in my geographical farm. I walk it and put that, plus a cover letter and whatever the theme is, into one of those sheets. Knock on the door, even if they're not there, I can leave it right there on the door. Now, one little area that I started, and I'm doing it with my friend Eva, we sold a property in August, and we just really like the neighborhood, and there's 90 houses in this neighborhood. So August, September, October, November, we've done it 4 months now, and you know, I gave them Halloween goodies and those. Anyway, I have a lot of fun doing it. I want to do stuff you enjoy doing as well. And we've gotten 2 calls now after the 4th month, which is pretty amazing, because a lot of times it takes 9, 10, 12 months before, you know, they really know who you are. You want to establish yourself as that neighborhood specialist. And lo and behold, we got a call, and they're probably going to, they're with Monsanto or Bayer now, and they're going to transfer back to the mainland. And they called us. So I give them pieces that they keep and put on their, you know, stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and send that around for you to check out. So local market conditions. So is our current market, the inventory, is it rising or is it falling?
Falling.
Okay, very good. And can you think of things that are, well, we've been talking about them already, things that are happening in the, that might impact long-term housing here? You know, some of the issues that we have as far as community and availability and pricing.
Well, the tidal thing with the water level going higher, people are gonna be reluctant to buy oceanfront condos that are set too low.
Right, yeah.
That's a, you know, big red flags suddenly now.
There's 5 condos that I personally tell people I don't want to show you, because I don't want you to buy that, because there's, you know, trouble coming. Yeah, those kinds of things, and, you know, and the fact that we have such a low amount of inventory and housing overall, given that our population has risen, and given the fact that there's so much outside money that keeps beefing up, and you know, people's incomes aren't keeping up with that. It makes it very difficult to find things in that price range, no question. Yeah. So the local market conditions. PowerPoint does not match my curriculum, just so you know. Is this important to you guys, this piece of this? In terms of me showing you this on the screen? I'm not gonna pay as much attention to that, okay? It's just messing up my flow, okay? So I'm looking at my page 12, local market conditions, talking about the inventory, days on the market. I like to point out that for the most part, price per square foot, that would maybe apply if in a condo complex where everything was exactly the same. But in terms of single family properties, all over the board. So there will be some people that say, well, I figured this out and that, and you just have to explain to them it really doesn't, per square footage isn't the way to figure those out. And changes in the local landscape. We we don't have big changes going on here, we're pretty simple, right? We're, in the hospitality business for the most part here. There's nothing,
Well, what about like the sugar cane is no longer burning? That's a big change in the landscape. That could change
that's true.
a whole demographic of people that don't wanna live near the smoke. 'Cause
Yeah.
They have asthma.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, and the volcano on the Big Island quit burning. I mean, there's a lot of environmental things.
Right. And I'm thinking in terms of how it affects the market,
Yeah,
a big change is gonna be when they figure out what they're gonna do with those 33,000 acres. What kind of agricultural,
Right.
then we're gonna head out into. I'm hemp, I'm hoping for hemp. I think it can do amazing things. It grows fast, it's inexpensive, less water, it's strong. I
So
mean,
many things can do
come
that.
on, yeah. So when, let's say we do that and start to build that, to the Maui landscape, that's gonna affect and make change as well, so those kinds of things will happen. Right now, we're kind of just. Okay, so. Would you guys like to choose, I'm gonna have you go ahead and get in groups of 2. One of you has to have a computer. If you would please.
You know, I guess we're gonna have
Do you want my computer?
Oh, no, I'm gonna work with them.
Okay.
Want to use my computer? Yours is a lot more nicer than mine, yeah. Mine won't have really been super.
She's got mine in it, I'm pretty low. What? I just never got to take
What time do you do that?
And then you 2 get together, okay?
Anything about now.
So these are active listings. When we get inside, and I'll go ahead and get on multiple too, if you like, with you, your things, or I'll just maybe wander around and help you if you need, to get places. I have Sharpied out the prices, so look at the pendings and the solds, no cheating. I want you to do a CMA on these properties, and we're gonna just discuss it, and we can just be very interactive. There are 2 that are the same, because that's kind of interesting to find out, how one matches with the other. There's one that's actually easier, a little bit, because I think I did 3. I did 3 houses and 1 condo. Condos can be, quite a bit simpler.
Really?
And that's good, because you're gonna probably be doing open houses in condos, especially if you're in the Kihei area, and,
We're just supposed to find
that, so,
like similar properties.
are you all hooked up with multiple?
No.
Oh, you are not?
We're both really new.
Okay, good enough, good enough.
Still waiting.
Anybody else not,
Yeah.
does not have access to a multiple?
I've been looking at houses.
Yeah, you need to go to Paragon.
Yeah.
On this.
So you said Doug's got the actual listing,
On the
Doug's got
website.
the actual listing, correct?
No, don't go to that listing. So, does anybody have a highlighter?
Yes.
Okay, if you have a highlighter, pull it out, because that can be
For
really good.
1 bed,
You can mark all this up. So,
2 beds.
you tell me, what are the things we're gonna compare?
Bedrooms, square footage, bathrooms, garage size, lot size.
Maintenance,
Neighborhood.
maintenance fees maybe?
Not on the market analysis.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's something you consider on that kind of secondary,
location, like what are they there,
yeah?
and
You don't have it?
Oh, I've gotta, I know, I've gotta do that same thing I told you
floor
about.
plans.
You don't have this? You have that page?
It's not.
Did you pay like your fee fees and everything.
Is yours not working?
What?
Is your paragraph not working?
That works.
Oh.
So, it's KW2 over here, right? Like mine is,
Yeah.
I was doing
Oh.
KW, and so now I have to change my,
And you said they'll be under pending?
yeah. I think I probably maybe should go,
Okay.
I did change the.
So this is where you look at all the.
if I get on
Deals
here
goes.
though,
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna do CMAs for comparative other. Homes, I guess, look in this area.
Do we go to create presentation?
no, actually, gosh, you guys, I apologize. I didn't realize that this was gonna be so difficult.
This is single, does it have an Ohana? No. So it's
Yeah,
single
fill
family.
off all that.
So, yeah. What district is it in?
Okay, so this is KW2.
And then you can, so you can see like all the
Do we
one bed,
wanna do areas around it, or
So we're looking for one bed, two baths.
Doesn't have the same property.
Sure if we can.
What is the price on this one?
There we go. Okay, so now.
Well, the original.
I'm assuming it's.
Oh, it's all scratched out, that's lovely.
Oh, yeah,
search?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I just tried. I don't know this like super
And then
well.
if you type in
So we're looking at
status,
Yeah, so what I'm doing is, if we put assume it's a model D,
What do you say?
you put assume it's in a community then that, they're all kind of like homes. So the way I typically be doing it is, I go into the address, kind of see what's around it within a certain radius. Look at the same amount of bedrooms, bathrooms.
So-
If you've got the same ones, then you can look at historical sales, current listings.
Since you guys don't know how to use this,
So,
this is the most, the ramp,
That's
filter
always more
association.
desirable.
Okay,
so I'm understanding the listing.
That's it,
So
right?
this is MLS?
That's
yes,
okay.
this is our actual MLS, and you guys have a house?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You know what, since you don't have connection, I think
What do you say
probably
then?
I would do better. Do you guys, where are you at? Do you need me to get on there and kind of show you and walk you through what we're doing?
Yeah,
Have you
let's
been
do-
in there and done
let's
this?
do that.
Okay, let's do that, and then you guys can just watch that, which is
Okay,
fine,
cool.
cause you're not gonna be able to.
Like, we're doing similar.
Yeah, yeah, let's see, here's. Huh.
that's 75.
You know, I'm such a creature of habit, it's interesting, but I don't even remember
That's
the.
five baths.
Marine Alley, is that what it is?
Oh,
Oh, there it is, good. No, that's not what
How did that happen?
I mean, it's in the price. Maybe that's the minimum. Maybe we put like one bed minimum.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so
Yeah, maybe you can put in the maximum.
you guys can do your own thing and we'll kind of do some stuff together too. So, have y'all seen this? You know what that is, okay? So we have access to all sorts of stuff. It's the Paragon MLS is where I'm gonna go. And there is a CMA thing, but I'm not gonna worry about that right now. What I want you to do, and this is gonna be good to help kind of get in the groove of using this program as well, is you're gonna search, and shall we pick one of these to do? Where is that? Okay, this is, so you guys kind of got the easy one, right? That's the condo. That's a good way to start. So this is in Maui Kamaoli, which is right up above the boat ramp there in Kihei, South Kihei. I love Maui Kamaoli. As a matter of fact, just a little side note, for people that want Wailea and have a Kihei budget, this is a good place to go. It's very, very nice, very well done. Okay, so this is obviously, I'm gonna search, and I'm gonna go down and search condominiums.
Oh,
Okay. And I want to, as far as status, I wanna know what's pending and what's sold. Oops. There we go. And because this is a condominium, so this is a little easier than a single-family resident, I can actually put in the complex name, which is this Sugar Beach.
Why are you skipping active?
I'm skipping active, because to price a property, the way we price the property is determined by what a buyer is willing to pay. And what we find, that's how we find out, is by going into what people have been paying. Ideally in the last, say, 6 months. Sometimes we have to go back further in time, sometimes we have to go out further in geography.
Would it also be important though to, you know, depending on the response you get from your client as to what their timeline is to sell, wouldn't seeing active give you a barometer as to, well, if these are the active ones and they haven't sold in
Right,
180 days,
yeah, I
you know,
agree with
you
you.
wanna be under.
I agree with you 100%, so that information is important, you are going to look at actives as part of this process, but for what we're doing right now, first off, I pulled this off, it isn't active, so I don't want you to see the price, because I want you to not be influenced by that. It's absolutely important, but the sold and the pending is the, or the prime, is the data that you're gonna look at to make your price decision.
Okay.
But